broadcasters. Welcome to episode 211 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. My name's Geige, and I'm here with Dan, of course. Dan, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Doing well. It's been a fun week. Really excited to be here with all of you. For anyone new here, Dan and I are the founders of StreamYard, and we do these town halls every single Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific, and we do them for a few reasons. One is to stay in tune with all of you, go through the same flow that you all do with your own shows and productions. Two is to answer any of your questions. That's why we're calling it Ask StreamYard. So if there's anything you'd like us to touch on tonight, feel free to leave it in the chat. We'll do our best to get to as many as we can. We've had lots and lots of questions lately, which is awesome and makes these really fun. So we definitely appreciate that. If we don't make it to your question, we'll do our best to get to it the next time around. And then I always mention the three pillars of StreamYard, which are ease of use, stability, and professional stream. So if you're about those three things, StreamYard is the tool for you. Really nice seeing folks hanging out from all over the world tonight. We have Max from Southern California. Nice to see you here. Big fan. Thanks, Max. Are you hiring? We do have a job board if you go to StreamYard.com. We've got Christoph from Maine, New Jersey. Folks from all over the world. Very, very cool. Before I forget, we do have awesome shows on StreamYard that I should mention. We got YouTube channel reviews with Dee and Daniel, the second Saturday of every month. Really fun show if you're looking to grow on YouTube. They cover really great content on things like how to grow your channel, how to interpret your analytics, how to come up with things like thumbnails, and all kinds of stuff that's really specific and actionable because they'll go over individual channels. It's a lot of fun. And then we have Enhance your live streams the last Tuesday of the month with Nick Nimmin. Nick is a pro when it comes to all things video and live stream. So come there with your specific live stream questions. And one thing we've been doing at the start of these, so that you get to know a little bit more about us, we get to know a little bit more about you. You get to know a little bit more about us as well as a fun fact. And the fun fact we had for tonight was: are you a morning or night person? What are you, Dan?
And I guess if your answer is somewhere in between, that's totally fine too. I'm not sure what the definition of this is if it's just when you like to work or when you have the most energy. I find I have a ton of energy all day, so I guess I'm kind of both. But I naturally, and I think everyone in my family kind of leans towards nighttime. Like I have no problem staying up super late, working late in the night, and then like even getting progressively later and later every day. So I'm naturally more of a night person, but I'm a big fan of both. How about you?
Awesome. I think I'm a little bit similar where it's like I don't have a super strong preference, but I had to pick one. I think morning or whenever I wake up is probably my favorite.
Cool.
All right, we have got lots of questions here, so let's cover some of those before getting into some of our other topics. Jane says, question, do you need to be active with a YouTube channel to get a gifted membership? If so, what does that mean? So I do think, Jaden, that there are some specific requirements when it comes to having the membership option on your YouTube channel. If you just go to YouTube's support documentation, I think they'll have the exact requirements. I don't actually know what they are off the top of my head.
Yep.
Eliana says, had some issues with my camera. I can't get it to connect. So Elena, I would if you go to StreamYard.com/contact, we have a 24/7 live chat there, and they can troubleshoot with you on that specific camera, depending on the exact model and sort of how it interfaces with the computer. I'm sure they'll be able to figure it out with you.
Yep.
Living Loud with Andy says, appreciate you guys. I go live twice a week and it's a blast. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, Andy. That's awesome. Happy to hear that.
Cool.
I think I forgot to start, but I saw a question from someone earlier regarding the recording limits of StreamYard, where it was a 13-hour live stream, but only the first 10 hours from Freedom Patriot Network. So thanks for hanging out with us, Freedom Patriot. I can't find your original question, but it was the recording limits. So each plan records a different amount of time per stream. Do you want to walk through that, Dan?
So yeah, it used to be a little more different too. So we used to do, again, this is what we used to do. This is not anymore. I think it used to be like 4 hours on free, maybe 6 on basic, 10 on pro. It's now just 10 on all of our plans, unless you're on our business plan, and then it can kind of be a custom amount. But all the ones that we use a credit card to pay for right now, I think, yeah, it just records the first 10 hours.
So yeah, hopefully that's helpful. Freedom Patriot Network.
And basically, like say you're live streaming, just to give an example, you're live streaming to YouTube and you want to do like a marathon live stream where you're streaming for 3 days straight or something, we'll record the first 10 hours on StreamYard. If you needed all of it to be recorded on StreamYard, then you could just break it up into chunks. So stream for 10 hours and then just start another stream on YouTube 10 hours later, for example. We find it's pretty rare people need to stream for more than 10 hours, but there are the odd time someone's got an interesting use case.
Cool. There were a couple things we also wanted to mention tonight. One was green screen improvements. So if you are using the green screen functionality of StreamYard, as of a few weeks ago, we did make some adjustments that should improve the performance and functionality of it. So if you do happen to use it, would be curious your thoughts and feedback on it, and if you've noticed it. Other one, it's a bit of a teaser, but want to let you know that we do have some cool features coming for shorts and reels. So definitely, I think we'll have some more details next week with how it works, but I'm really excited about that. I think we had several questions around Instagram now that more folks are starting to get access to it. So yeah, this one from Lonnie, and I see it several times in the chat. So with Instagram, yeah, this one as well. Question: did Instagram get added? I was testing on StreamYard and Instagram this weekend. So it depends who you are. So Instagram's slowly rolling it out to various folks, and it's an RTMP option. So if you do have access, it's in our support docs as well. If you type in Instagram, I think it walks through how to check if you have access. You'll have an option to get the RTMP information, and you will, if you do have access, you will be able to stream to it from StreamYard as a custom RTMP destination. And we are going to be adding some functionality to make it a little bit easier and a little bit more clear on how that works. Unfortunately, it is still pretty limited. Like more and more folks are getting access, so you should definitely check, but it is still a pretty small pool. But super exciting that it is starting to happen, and we're definitely going to be building out more and more functionality to support Instagram. Let's see what else we had here. Yeah, RLCC says having Instagram will be a game changer. Yes, super excited about Instagram.
Yeah, that'd be great, especially if they do eventually build kind of an actual API and we can pull comments and everything. That would be amazing. Obviously, they don't have that yet, but hopefully one of these days.
Jamel says, did notice the green screen change. Like it better prior where my green screen could look brown and natural. Well, appreciate the feedback, Jamel.
Interesting.
Let's see what else we had here. Chris says, what is the recommended up speed for a smooth 1080p live stream? I may need to upgrade my ISP plan. Do you want to take that one, Dan?
So I find, first of all, I guess I would mention stability tends to be more important than actual speed. Now, speed is also important, but stability is kind of the more important thing. So for example, a lot of times people will run a speed test online. You can just go to Google speed test and it'll say like, I've got 30 megabits per second of upload speed, and they'll think that's great. And usually that's fine. But if you're really far from your router or something and you kind of have a connection that's like cutting in and out, most of the time you won't notice it when you're browsing the internet and stuff, because it'll just kind of keep retrying. Eventually everything will load, it'll be fine. But when you're streaming, that can be more of a problem. So I would say stability is most important. So for example, if you can plug into your router or just be really close to your router, that helps. But as far as actual speed goes, if you have somewhere between about 5 and 10 megabits per second upload, you should be totally fine as long as that actually is stable. And the more stable it is, kind of the lower it can be and still be fine. If it's a little more unstable or you're super far from the router, you're going to have a challenge either way.
Cool. One other thing we did want to mention is lots of folks from our marketing team and the design team are actually going to be at PodFest this week in Orlando. So if you're in Orlando or you're going to Orlando for PodFest, definitely look out for us there. It would be great to chat with you in person. It'd be lots of fun.
Cool.
Okay, let's see. Joel says, you guys need to add an encoder to StreamYard. So one of the nice things about StreamYard, Joel, is that the encoder is on StreamYard's end. So StreamYard encodes it on its server, so your computer doesn't have to handle it specifically for the destinations that you're streaming to. But if I misunderstood the question, let me know. Living Loud with Andy says, do you know if TikTok will ever be an option to stream to? Not a big deal, but always wondered. We definitely think like that TikTok is an important platform, and as soon as they allow streaming to come from third-party tools outside of TikTok, we definitely will support it. Let's Go So with Joanne says, any issues with the Rode 2 wireless mic with a live stream? I've used it for recording non-live and it works great. No, I've heard great things about the Rode 2 microphone, Joanne. So should work fine. Anything that StreamYard can recognize and pick up within the studio should be just fine.
Yep.
Paul says, any updates on a breakout screen for control? For example, I take my stream full on one screen, but I see my controls and guests on another.
Cool. Good question. So I assume you're talking maybe 2 monitors. Like me, for example, I've got 3 monitors. So you'd want to have the stream here and then maybe like the banners or something over on another screen. Let me know if that's exactly what you mean. I'm not sure if we support it across multiple screens. I mean, in theory, you can do that by just opening up multiple tabs, but you need to be careful how you do it because you might end up hearing yourself if you're not doing it really carefully. And we might just make it easier to kind of configure the studio so you can maximize it on one monitor and sort of move things around if the challenge is that you don't see, for example, banners and comments at the same time. So that might be something that just gets fixed in general. But yeah, let me know if I'm correct that you want to put some stuff on one monitor, something on another monitor, or if we're missing anything there.
Cool. Let us know, Paul. And we do have some exciting stuff in the future regarding, it's not specifically related to that, but related to custom layouts and more flexibility with that type of stuff. Elena says, question, I have a GoDaddy account. How can I link StreamYard to my GoDaddy website? Awesome, Elena. We actually recently launched StreamYard on air webinars, which are really cool specifically for folks like you that have their own website. So if you're interested in streaming directly on your website, you can actually embed the StreamYard on air player and have people watch your live stream directly on your website. And you can do it as a multi-stream. So you're going live to social and your website at the same time. You can do it just with on air if you want it to be more like an exclusive private live stream on your website. So yeah, definitely check that out. When you go to create a stream, there's an option to test out on air, and there's lots of videos and support articles as well.
Yep.
Pixelpia says was going to Podfest but had to cancel. Too bad. Maybe next time. Pixelpia would have been awesome to meet you. Let's see here. Anna says, question, any NFL background paper art? So you can upload anything you like as a background, Anna. We don't have like a library of stuff to choose from, but anything that you get from one of those royalty-free websites or Canva will work just fine. You can upload it directly into StreamYard. It's a good idea, though. Maybe in the future, we should have more stuff where you can just directly grab it from StreamYard. Let's see what else we have here. One other topic we had that I wanted to ask about tonight was, it's been a while since it came up, but we did want to check in again, is regarding subscriber and follower alerts. I think for lots of the content on StreamYard, it's pretty like focused and people often don't want things just popping in and out. But curious how many of you, if we did have functionality that sort of, I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be on screen either, functionality that either surfaced it in the studio for you to see or had the option of actually showing it on screen that, hey, someone subscribed or followed your page, if that's something you'd be interested in or excited about, or if it's something you're not really particularly interested in.
Yeah, or if you are interested in it, if there's certain platforms you're more excited about, like you really want to see it from, like when someone subscribes on YouTube or Twitch or whatever you're most interested in.
Cool. Saeed says, hey guys, I'm having trouble on intros. There is no sound receiving on YouTube, but the panel can hear it on StreamYard. What is the issue, you reckon? Do you have any thoughts on that one, Dan?
So by panel, I assume you mean the people in the studio. So that shouldn't really happen. I guess it might be something to reach out to our support team. I've never heard of a case. I guess the most common one is if you open YouTube and YouTube itself is muted, like the player is muted, and then everything is kind of muted. If you can hear it in the studio, you should hear it in the output as well.
So yeah, if you could reach out to support, Saeed.
Yep.
Let's see what else we had here. Larry says, I do live at least once a week. Love the quality. Very easy to use and learn. Thanks, Larry. That's awesome to hear.
Cool.
Zach says, is there an ETA for pausing or restarting recordings? That's been a big request for a long time, Zach, and the team is actively working on it. I don't have a specific date, but it is being worked on, and it will be coming?
Yeah, there's several recording improvements we're kind of working on at the same time.
Yes, absolutely. Steven says, have any meetups been organized for StreamYard users / enthusiast? I'm in the NYC area. So we have done like virtual, like obviously we have the town hall, so that doesn't really count for an actual meetup. But we have also done sort of virtual events and things like that. But we haven't really done any in-person meetups. I think it's a really cool idea. So we're definitely open to doing them, especially in the larger cities where we could probably get quite a few folks to actually attend. But yeah, curious if other folks would actually hang out with us if we organize something like that.
Cool.
Jim says On Air works great. Used it tonight again on my website. Awesome, Jim. Super happy to hear that. Jamel says, how far away is StreamYard from comments for the On Air feature? So I assume that's referring to like embedding the comments on the StreamYard On Air itself. Do you have any thoughts on that one, Dan?
I think that one's quite close. I don't know exactly how long. I think we mentioned it maybe it's last week or the week before. That's one of the ones that will come very soon, though. There's obviously a long list of feature requests we have for On Air because the feature is quite new. But that one's right near the top, so it'll be quite soon. I don't know if it'll be a week, 3 weeks, something like that, but it's not going to be 6 months or anything like that. It should be pretty soon. Assuming you're talking about embedding. If it's something else, let us know.
Jim says, any ideas on how to separate audio feeds for each destination? So I'm assuming, Jim, you're not talking about, sorry, go ahead, Dan.
I just said interesting.
Yeah, I assume you're not talking about like the local separate audio functionality with StreamYard where you can record the individual tracks from each guest. But if you are, let me know because we have that built in now. But if you mean like you actually want a different track to be sent to YouTube versus Facebook or another destination, we don't have that at this time. So let us know if that is what you're asking.
Yeah, I'm always curious what the use case is. I know one we've seen before a few times is somebody's streaming, let's say in English, that's their main stream, and then they also want to send some other streams out in other languages. I'm trying to remember. There's a bunch of different ways we've seen that done. I think the most common one is they'll do the main stream in whatever the main language is, let's say English, and then I think they will screen record that in a different StreamYard studio and then have commentary on top of it in a different language and basically mute it. So there's like a different language on top, and then that one will stream out to the Spanish YouTube channel or something. So if that's what you're trying to do, there is ways to do it, but it's not something that's natively built into StreamYard.
Yeah, it would be a bit tough to do with StreamYard. I guess you kind of have to do, if that's really what you want, you kind of have to do separate streams. Yep. Carter says, where do you find the local recorded files for a Mac? So the easiest way to grab those, Carter, is if you just go into past broadcasts and go to download, you'll see an option to either download the full mixed recording or the individual tracks, and that's where you can locate them. In terms of like actually finding them within your device, they are technically being stored in your device, but they're sort of in a unique area that's not easy to access unless you're doing it directly from StreamYard. Yep. So I would just do it directly on StreamYard. If for some reason you are actually trying to get to it, it's technically in the local storage of the browser, so it would be somewhere in your browser folder right there.
Yeah, if you really needed to, but yeah, ideally you can don't
do that.
Yeah, because we need to process them and everything. You don't want to try to download them from your actual system. Basically, when you're doing the local recordings, we're kind of doing all the encoding and everything, but then we end up uploading stuff to our servers, and then our servers are optimizing them, and then you can download them after that.
Cool. Tristan says, On Air had great webinar this week, great experience, plus highly engaged. Well, congrats on a good webinar, Tristan. Any thoughts on downloadable chat after the stream?
Cool.
Yeah, that's a great one, Tristan. And actually, there's another banner or topic I had for tonight was the number one thing that you'd actually like to see added to On Air. So we're adding a ton of exciting stuff, and that's definitely on the list, Tristan, is more analytics and more things to download after the webinar is over. I think it totally makes sense to be able to access the chat after the webinar is over. So certainly something that we're exploring, along with all kinds of other cool features like the ability to integrate with your email platform and that type of stuff. But curious for those of you using the number one thing that you'd like to see. Any other thoughts on that one, Dan?
I don't think so. Yeah, for downloadable chat specifically, it's on our list. It's not at the top of the list, but I'm hoping it's something we support. I don't think it'll be in the next month or anything though, unless it starts to come up a lot more.
Tristan says, for local recording, what is the page to finish uploading if people leave early? I believe it's, sorry, go ahead, Dan.
I always forget if it's upload or upload. I think it's StreamYard.com/upload.
So yeah, StreamYard.com/upload, Tristan.
We'll post it in the chat.
Joanne says, yes, please. Would love to be able to download the chat. Good to know.
Cool.
Larry says, can you offer some clarification with the on-air option? Am I able to create one link that I can use over and over, or do I have to embed a new link each time into my website? I'm just trying to automate this as much as possible. That's a great question. Larry, do you want to take that one, Dan?
Yep. Yeah, good question. So right now it's a separate link every time you go live. So kind of similar to how if you're streaming to YouTube or Facebook, it's a new link every time. I think eventually we will support something like that though. And we're thinking about what would be the best way to actually do it. But yeah, right now it's new link every time. So you just have to switch that link on your website.
Cool. But yeah, like Dan said, Larry, if there's any specific ways other than just the obvious thing of also having the option to have a permanent link, let us know, because there's all kinds of cool stuff coming for on air this year.
Yep.
Thanks for the clarification, Jim. So it's for IRL live shows where copyright music is playing in the background and have to use multiple systems and separate streams. That's definitely a challenge. I'd have to think a little bit about that one, Jim.
Yeah.
Cool. I want to make sure that we have enough time for should we go ahead and get the giveaway queued up, Dan, while we do a few more questions?
Let's do it.
Michael says, use the webinar feature, worked well. Thank you. Awesome, Michael. Glad it worked well for you.
Cool.
O'Shea's Social Club says, are you ever going to have sound effects? So we do have background music, O'Shea. I'm not sure if you're aware of that or not, but if you go into the brand section of StreamYard, there are some preloaded tracks, and you can also upload your own. So some people are actually doing sound effects that way. Actually, the last giveaway we've done a couple of times, I actually do like a drum roll that Dan recorded as a sound effect. So there are some options for that. In terms of going deeper into it, it is a possibility. Curious if that's something that's important to you, to have more flexibility when it comes to sound effects.
Yeah, we'd always love to know what sound effects you're most interested in too.
Absolutely. So I guess I should explain the giveaway. So for anyone who hasn't attended one of these before, we always do a giveaway towards the end of the stream. So to be eligible, all you have to do is type in #theart. It only counts once, even if you type it in a bunch of times. And tonight we'll give away one of those pillows that I have in the background there, a StreamYard sweater, and the StreamYard plush duck. I think you can barely see it in my back. Dan's got one. Yeah, we'll give away those 3 things. So we'll give you 10, 15 seconds or so to get in your #theYards.
Cool.
Petty Talk says, can you make guests see each other on the backstage so they don't feel alone while they aren't on cam yet? Do you have any thoughts on that one, Dan?
I do, yeah. We've considered that, and maybe that's something we make an option. Although if you've seen these shows before, you probably know our attitude is always to try and minimize the options just to make the product as simple as physically possible. But I get the use case, or I get the need for it, is someone's on screen by themselves. They can't really see how people are reacting. The other downside, though, is could be almost a bit of a privacy concern in some cases where guests can see each other and they don't necessarily know they can. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we'll add that one or not. I'd be curious if other people really want to see that. It has come up before. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a solid yes or no on that one yet.
Cool. Thanks, Petty Talks. Are the entries still going up, Dan, or should we go ahead and run it?
I think we're pretty close. I think we're fine. We're good.
All right. Should I grab the here? I'll show the drum roll and how that kind of works. Let me turn down the volume of it a little bit. All right. Ready?
Cool. All right. Good luck, everyone. All right.
Michael, congrats. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. If you could send an email to contact@StreamYard.com, the team can work with you on getting your address and your size for your StreamYard pillow, your sweater, and StreamYard duck. Congrats again.
Awesome. Congrats, Michael.
One thing I should mention too, if you're ever interested in doing a giveaway like that for your own shows, we do have it publicly available. So if you just go to StreamYard.com/giveaway, there's a video walking through how the tool works, and you can do it just like how we did it, where you share the screen. You can choose your own keyword to hashtag whatever you want. So if you're interested in that, definitely check that out.
Cool.
NLTMW says alerts for subs, donations, etc. for YouTube would be great. Good to know. Sounds like Rex is also a fan of that. How we get there, Genealogy says, I do a 24-hour live stream fundraiser for Parkinson's disease on St. Patrick's Day. Who would I be able to talk to about potential sponsorship from StreamYard? That's awesome, Genealogy. If you could shoot an email to marketing@streamyard.com, that's probably the best place for that. Let's see what else we had here. Michael agreeing that a permalink for StreamYard on air /events would be great.
Yep. Yeah, agreed.
Anna says, completely off topic, curious if you'll be keeping your long hair over the summer. I think I am going to get it cut. It's getting a bit long. So a question from Charlie here. Charlie says, can the giveaway be used on an iPad as well? That's a good question. The only thing that would, again, correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, but the one thing that might be a little bit difficult on an iPad, yes, you do have to screen share the giveaway tool itself. So it would be a little bit difficult to do on an iPad as of now. If we do make it built into StreamYard directly in the future, then it would work on an iPad because you can obviously use the studio and stuff on StreamYard. But
yeah, very good point. You would have to improvise. I mean, if you have a computer, there's ways to hook it up where you could screen share the iPad. I assume you probably don't have one if you're asking the question. You can always do something. I wouldn't recommend this, but you can actually pull the giveaway up on your phone and just put it in front of the iPad so you're showing the giveaway, but it's not going to look amazing. But yeah, if we do ever kind of bake the giveaway tool into the studio, that would work for you.
Ghost Nancy says, would be nice to have removed winners so we can use the same StreamYard hashtag. Yes, that is one functionality that's missing right now, Nancy, is you're going to have to keep track on your own who's won in the past if you don't want to give it away again. So maybe in the future we can do that. Yep. Marina says, will you be giving on air free for the basic plan? So right now, the first version of on air starts on the professional version of StreamYard. It is possible that we would make it available on more plans. The reason it's on the professional plan now is it is a more expensive feature because we're actually hosting the stream on StreamYard and there's all the bandwidth required and stuff like that. But it is possible that maybe with a lower viewer limit or something like that, that we would put it on basic.
Yep.
All right, let's do one more here, and then we'll close it out for night. Richie says, can we get dark mode instead of looking at just a white screen? That one's come up for a long time, Richie. I think, I don't have an exact date for you, but it's definitely one of those things that we'll likely add when we have some time to do it. There are all kinds of like really high priority stuff, so it's a hard one to prioritize, but we would like to have it in the future.
I'd also add, I know I mentioned this before, but that you can get an extension for it. There's a bunch of Chrome extensions out there that let you turn any website into dark mode. So if you really, really need it, you can just download a Chrome extension for it. It's not going to look perfect, but it will probably look good enough for you.
Cool. And with that, this was episode 211 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We'll see you next week at the same time.
Cool. Thanks, everyone. See you next week.